I cast this fish some time ago, and as you can see, it has a wicked parting line. It's completely unacceptable. It's exactly what I've been railing against forever on this channel. I want castings to come out clean from the mold. People have asked me how I repair bad castings. How do I patch holes? How do I fix parting lines? And so because this fish has this horrendous, oh my God, horrendous parting line, and also several other flaws, that this would be a great opportunity to go through, patch it up, and get it ready for paint. Okay, so what materials do we want to use? I use epoxy sculpt. I use Magic Sculpt by the bucket load. It's also a two-part system. Frankly, epoxy sculpt and Magic Sculpt are exactly the same thing. I can't tell the difference. They both work great. They're both good products. If you don't want to use sculpture type products, you can just head down to your local hardware store, go to the automotive section, and you'll find Bondo products like this bot and glazing putty. It's just a polyester kind of putty, works great. Or head over to the section where all the adhesives are and you'll find this plumber's putty. It's just a two-part epoxy system, just like Magic Sculpt. And don't forget, you can actually use the resin that you cast the piece with to patch it up. Just mix up small amounts and apply it and fill holes. And in most cases, the resin will bond to itself just fine. Again, my favorite is the epoxy putties, and that's what we're going to be mostly using to fix this fish today. But here's the thing about epoxy putty. When it gets a little old, a little stale in the cup, it forms this weird greenish crust on it. You think it's no good, but do not despair. Just hook a little lump of it out. What I like to do is just squeeze it down into a potato chip-like thing and then just knead it with water. Turns out you can completely resurrect it and make it just as good as new. Just kind of slowly work the water into it and get it back to a really good working consistency, and then you'll find it will work just fine. And you can roll it out and you can shape it and you can do whatever, just like it's brand new again. So don't throw it out just because it looks like it's dead in the cup. It's still useful. When I apply the epoxy putty to a parting line or a hole to fill, I always like to overbuild it. That is to say, build it so that it's above the surface that you want to sand back down to. It doesn't shrink much at all, but by having it be a little bit over-mounded, you know you're only going to need one application. Bad enough to have to do this at all, but if you have to build up layers of putty, it's just too tedious to me, so I just build it up a little bit high, a little bit proud of the surface from the get-go. And then when it cures, and it does take a while to cure, it's usually about an overnight, at least several hour cure. When it does cure, you can scrape and sand it down. One of my favorite methods for smoothing and sanding any surface down, whether it's plastic or putties or paint or wood, is to use a scraper. And it's a classic cabinet maker's technique, scraping a surface. It's so fast and it's so clean and it results in so nice a surface. You can buy pre-made scrapers. Woodworkers use them all the time. But for most of what I do, because it's small scale toy stuff, I just use razor blades. And as you can see, they work great as a scraper. And notice how quickly they take the material down and look at how much material it removes in a short period of time. Scraping is just a great technique for sanding anything smooth, and one that you should definitely be using in your arsenal. Normally I like to cut the sprue off the casting right when it comes out of the mold. That's when the plastic is still pretty soft and easy to cut. Then you can just use an X-Acto or a utility knife and just trim it off. But if you let it cure overnight, you're going to have to saw it off. And here I'm just using a jeweler's saw to illustrate the fact that it works really well. Of course, in my shop, I have a power scroll saw and I have a band saw, and both of those tools are super fast for doing this trim work, but they're not necessary. Hand tools work just as well. They just do it a little slower. As you can see, this is taking quite a long time, and this is why I harp so much about having clean castings, because you just don't want to have to do this much work every time to finish a casting and make it ready for painting. All right, this piece is patched, puttied, sanded, and ready to go. But there's one more step, and that is that I like to prime the casting with a plastic-compatible primer. It can be difficult to see that you've got all the sanding done until you put a coat of primer on, and then it becomes really apparent. You go through the piece and you find all the areas where there just needs to be some additional work, some sanding, some more filling, and you might repeat that step a couple of times, putting on successive layers of primer until everything is just as smooth and as clean as you want it to be. Priming's done, time to break out the gesso. I have found that acrylic gesso over primer is a great base for painting resin castings. And use a hairdryer if you really want to speed things along. The base color of this koi is white, and while gesso is a nice opaque material, titanium white is a little bit brighter and cleaner a white, plus it's a little bit more glossy. So I'm going to lay down a couple of coats of titanium white as a base coat for the fish. I did a little research on koi fish color patterns and decided to go with a bright reddish orange and black and white combo. But I'm not going to go for realism here because the fish is pretty cartoony, and so I think I'll keep the paint job simplified and pretty graphic-y looking. One of the things I find really interesting about painting on sculpture is the way that the colors can either enhance the forms or completely subvert or overwhelm the sculptural thing. So the first thing you see is the color pattern, and it really almost knocks the shapes and the sculptural forms into the background. And I think that's particularly true in this fish. I'm finishing the paint job with a coat of gloss varnish, and that's for several reasons. One, it's a fish, and it feels like it should be shiny and slick and wet looking, but also the gloss will reflect light, and that'll help pick up the details again. Like you're going to see the scales and the crevices and the cracks and the forms because the light reflections will be laying on top of the colors, and it'll bring back out some of those forms that were knocked down by the paint job. Hey, I hope you liked this video. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, watch this video next, and I will see you next time around.